Since our last video on the Clarity Act, things have moved fast. One of them is going to change how a lot of you earn yield on stablecoins. On May 1st, after months of deadlock, Senator Tillis and also Brooks cut a deal that kills how most earn yield on stablecoins right now. No more parking USDC or USDT on exchanges and collecting interest. That deal passed the committee on May 14th. Now it still needs to pass the full Senate before it becomes law, and the White House wants that done by July 4th. But Democrats pushed hard for ethics rules, banning officials like Trump from profiting off crypto while in office.
Trump has amassed more than $1.5 billion from his crypto ventures like World Liberty Financial.
And those amendments failed at committee, but the fight is not over. It is moving to the Senate floor. Before we get into what changed in this deal and whether it's actually good for crypto, let's quickly recap on what the Clarity Act actually does. So it is creating permanent federal law for what a security and a commodity is in crypto. Permanent meaning the next SEC chair can't just reverse it. So here's what that looks like. 16 tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and 12 others become commodities under federal law. That means regulated exchanges can list them, institutions can trade them, and there is legal clarity that doesn't disappear when administrations change. Tokens where you're buying based on a team's promise to build something stay with the SEC. But the bill creates a pathway for them to graduate to CFTC oversight once their networks hit certain decentralization benchmarks. Though how that certification process actually works in practice is still unclear. Payment stablecoins like USDC fall under last year's Genius Act framework, and the bill protects DeFi developers. If you're building non-custodial protocols, you don't have to register like an exchange. That means you can keep building without compliance costs that would kill most projects. But it is not a free pass. Anti-fraud and money laundering laws still apply. The SEC and CFTC put out guidance in March that said basically the same thing. These tokens are commodities. Staking and mining is fine, but guidance is reversible. Chair Atkins said it himself. Only Congress can rewrite the law. The March guidance could be gone in an afternoon if a new SEC chair wants it gone. This bill cannot. So then what actually changed on May 1st? Two senators, Tillis and also Brooks, cut a deal on the one thing that's been holding this bill up for months. Can crypto exchanges pay you yield on stablecoins? The answer that they landed on is no. Not if you're just holding them. If you've got USDC sitting on Coinbase earning 4% without doing anything, that is going away. But if you're actually using your stablecoins, spending them, trading with them, providing liquidity, making payments, you can still earn rewards on that activity. So the line is whether you're doing something or if you're just parking them like a savings account. So why draw that line there? Well, because banks went to Congress and said $6.6 trillion in deposits were at risk. If you can move your savings from a checking account earning 0.5% into a stablecoin earning 5%, most people would. So banks lobbied hard to kill stablecoin yields, and they got most of what they wanted. The deal also closes a loophole. Last year's Genius Act said stablecoin issuers can't pay yield, but it didn't say anything about exchanges. So companies like Circle couldn't pay you directly, but exchanges like Coinbase could still offer yield programs on the stablecoins they hold for you. Now, this deal extends the ban to all intermediaries, any exchange, any platform holding your stablecoins. The Senate Banking Committee voted May 14th and the bill passed.
I'm proud of this committee for doing the work, and I look forward to moving this bill forward.
Now it needs to be merged with the Senate Agriculture Committee's version. They passed their own crypto bill back in January, and then it goes to the full Senate floor. That floor vote needs 60 votes to pass, which means at least 7 Democrats have to cross over. The ethics fight is what could block that. Now, the White House still wants this signed by July 4th, but that timeline is tight. Industry analysts are saying late summer or fall is more realistic. Senator Marino's warning still stands. If this doesn't hit the Senate floor by end of May, it is dead for 2026. Now, another obstacle is an ethics provision. Democrats introduced amendments at committee to ban government officials, yes, that's also the president, from holding crypto business ties. Senator Chris Van Hollen led the push because Trump's family has about $1.4 billion in crypto holdings. And the amendments failed at committee, but the issue isn't settled. The White House has said that they're fine with broad ethics rules, but won't accept language that looks like it is targeting specific people. That fight is moving to the Senate floor, where Democrats hold the leverage to block the 60 votes needed. So the question is now, given how much this restricts yield, would crypto actually be better off if this bill just failed? If clarity passes the full Senate, you get permanent commodity status for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and 13 other major tokens written into federal law. That means they can't be reclassified as securities later. DeFi developers get legal protection so they don't have to register like exchanges just for writing code. And the CFTC gets authority to register spot crypto platforms, which is what unlocks the institutional infrastructure that can't exist under regulatory uncertainty. But passive stablecoin yield disappears from every US exchange, which means American platforms are competing with offshore venues that can still offer it. If the bill fails, you keep the March guidance that has no yield restrictions. Short term, that's obviously better for platforms offering yield products, but guidance isn't law. A new administration could come in and reverse every word of it. So then you're back to regulation by enforcement, which is exactly what the industry has been fighting against for years. Senator Lem has warned that if Congress misses this window, comprehensive crypto legislation might not happen again until 2029, which would be after the next presidential cycle. And that's probably one reason the industry moved so fast when the new deal dropped. Circle backed it immediately, and Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, who had pulled support in January,
a bunch of these issues in the bill, which would have been catastrophic, I think, for the average American consumer,
reversed course and backed the bill publicly. The Blockchain Association and Crypto Council for Innovation both endorsed it, and Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse called it
a big positive shift in the last week.
Over 120 crypto firms signed a joint letter urging the Senate Banking Committee to move forward. So that's where we are. The bill cleared committee, which means it's headed to the Senate floor. If it passes there, they'll have traded retail yield for permanent law. Banks get deposit protection, platforms get statutory certainty, institutions get a framework that survives administration changes, and DeFi protocols may get a flood of capital if passive yield dies on centralized exchanges, but stays legal in non-custodial smart contracts. So what do you think? Is this bill actually good for crypto?